word, the B word, is actually an expression of a frustrated emotion that get off my way. DGP, they want to play by rules. They want transparency. They want honesty. They want growth. They want creation. They want values. You are the good wife. You are the good husband. You are the good employee. You are the good citizen. You are the good student. And your all goodness is making the crooks prosper. And sometimes you can actually learn so much from women on how to handle the nuances of power struggle. I think they are engaging with corporate politics and CCBs much better than what I had expected. To break this barrier of not living a life of approval and living an authentic life, it's quite a journey. When I meet women, one of the biggest dilemmas that they face is this: take care of my home or take care of my hunger for my career, my vocation, my talent, my need to create something. I think self-worth comes from the point that are you able to stick to your authentic self, your original thinking?
Hi, Yadhav, and welcome to the AboutHer Show, which is actually a show where we get trailblazing women to share the story of their lives with us. Because we believe that, lots of women out there have dreams, ambitions, aspirations, but for some reason they're not able to follow those dreams. So we feel that by listening to inspiring stories, they'll be able to break out of whatever is holding them back and go for their dreams. And in the same vein, we're also letting the women who feature on the show to share their stories. They get a platform to talk about themselves, their successes, failures, everything that's been a part of their story. And along with women, we also get men on the show. Men who we believe champion such women because we believe that for a truly gender inclusive world, men and women need to be allies in this journey. Now, when it comes to you, of course, we've been trying to do this for the longest time ever. So I've known you for a very, very long time. It goes back, I think, 3 decades. And I have seen the various transitions, what you have taken up at various stages of your life, decisions you have, taken and paths you've chosen. And one thing which has come out very strongly, which kind of stays with me, is the fact that whatever you choose to do, you are absolutely committed and devoted to it. You will make an all out effort to, it's like once you've decided to do something, you will make sure that you stick to that. And which I think in today's day and age, when there are so many, how should I say, influences, which can distract you, which can take you away from what you want to do, I think it's really credible that you are able to stick to what you said maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And that's why I believe you're a role model for so many people out there, both men and women. So, fairly obvious that we wanted to have you on the show. And of course, how should I say, the cherry on the cake is the book that you've written, which of course we'll be talking about. So, once again, a very, very warm welcome to you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. It's so inspirational to hear that you've chosen this route of storytelling, inspirational incidents, people's life struggles to unlock the obstacles that women may have or men may have or the allies may have. So well done. I've known you for a long time. I could reciprocate the same words, but I won't make the listeners go through the same thing again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So, let's get started.
Please.
So, here's the first question. Now, as I know, you have worn many hats, from being in the corporate world to a TEDx speaker, trainer, coach, facilitator, and now an author. So my question is that was there a defining moment in your life when you felt the need to bring all your experiences together in the form of a book?
Yeah, I think, see, it was like I was carrying the load inside me for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I can now relate with a woman who carries the child and wants to deliver, and it's all part of her. So I'd been teaching this subject of handling the crooks, creeps, and bullies in one's life for almost 20 years.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm getting, and there was the burden of, posterity, then mortality, then scalability in me, that I wanted to put the drop in the ocean out there. I wanted to get that drop in the ocean from inside me out there.
Hmm.
And people had been asking for it. It was being taught in 110 countries, these original models, which are not Googleable.
Hmm. Hmm.
And COVID, which wasn't a very good thing for mankind, but for the book, it gave me that time to just write. So the defining moment was, I mean, the philosophy was posterity, mortality, and scalability. But I
Hmm.
think the moment, the inflection point was COVID, which gave me that time to just write and pour it out and talk to my book.
Right. So something which had been brewing at the back of your mind for a very long time. And that period, the COVID time when we were actually like, kind of stuck at home, it gave you the time to reflect upon it, to ponder over all those thoughts, and then actually have the time to put it down there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think COVID did that to a lot of us. So, of course,
Plus,
yeah,
I'm a daily wager, as people call me that. So the
well,
daily wager sit down, and I was still adjusting to the world of Zooms and Teams and Google Meets. So I think so the daily wager got the space, and that translates me into a book.
well, daily wager indeed. All right. So, of course, when we are talking about the book, we have to talk about the title of the book, right? And in particular, I mean, it's a very hard hitting title, something which one doesn't really come across, when you look at books in bookstores or even otherwise. The title, as I see, is bold, it is arresting, it is unapologetic. Now, did you always know that this would be the name? And of course, what kind of reaction did it trigger?
Okay, so did I know that? See, first let's go to the book. It's called Handling Crooks, Creeps, and the B word, bastards. Now that's cryptically written so that it doesn't look obscene on the cover of the page.
Yeah.
But the name was somehow there because I've trained over 100,000 people
Hmm.
across 30, 40 countries and across levels in corporate sector, NGOs, government, etc.
Hmm.
And people, a lot of decent good people get obstructed by destructive energies.
Yeah.
And most of the times, the discussions, constructive discussions, would get blocked by, yes, but she blocks me, he blocks me, they block me.
Hmm.
And what do I do? And these were people who were just wanting a good, clean life. So I had come up with these models, but why the name there? Because in and through, when people were telling me about their stories which were obstructing their good energy, was that there were some people who were front stabbing them.
Hmm.
There
Hmm.
were some backstabbing them or sidestepping them. So there were sugar-coated knives in their lives. There were people who would just come and stop them, and their emotion was bloody B. So the
Yeah.
name of the book there, Handling Crooks, Creeps, and Bees, or Bullies, or Bastards, or whatever, the last word, the B word, is actually an expression of a frustrated emotion that get off my way.
Right.
And it's suppression, repression, depression, explosion kind of a word there.
Right.
So when I came up with this word and I talked about it, people said, "Yeah, that. I want something on it." And then I realized that Amazon wouldn't allow me to advertise with this word.
Yeah.
And I was in a bookshop in Dehradun once, and there was my book there on the rack. And the mother and the daughter were looking for a book on assertiveness, courageous conversation, etc.,
Hmm.
for the daughter to handle bullying in school. So
Okay.
this daughter was studying in Dehradun and was getting bullied in school, and the mother-daughter thought of this plan that let's get over this through knowledge. So for knowledge, they came to a bookshop. In the bookshop, they found books like "Don't Say No When You Want to Say Yes," "The Courage to Be Disliked," and then they saw this book.
Hmm.
And the daughter is interested. And the daughter is about 12, 13 years old. It's a very simply book written very simply.
Hmm.
She picked it up. And the mother took the book away from her hand and said, No, you are not buying a book with a cuss word.
Okay. Okay.
So she put the book back, and the author was right there watching the whole drama.
All right. Hmm.
So I said, I know the word is a bit tricky for a parent to have, and I'll come up with the same book with another cover, which is now called Handling Crooks, Creeps, and Bullies.
Okay.
So, which Amazon is now going to allow, but the content remains the same. It's that B word being replaced by this B word.
Okay.
So, I mean, two answers to your question. Do adults love the title of the book? Yes. Do individuals love the title of this book, which covers the front stabbers and the back stabbers? Yes.
Hmm.
Do institutions like the book?
Hmm.
No. Do
Hmm.
institutions want to put it in their lunchroom because an organization with its brand name does not want to be seen with a book like this, though they
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
the people who are working there, but not a super hit with the institution. So
Right.
that's the story behind, the front back stab and the B word being just an expression of anger.
Hmm. Hmm. So it was
So
all those pent up emotions which basically led to the title of the book. And now you've had to kind of soften the blow, if I may say so, a little bit by changing that last word and making it more, how should I say, acceptable for institutions, because I guess they also have to stand up for certain values and, the optics have to be right. So I guess if you want your message to really spread, which is what the intention of the book is, then maybe a little, few tweaks here and there, I don't think they make really a difference, because ultimately it is the intent, which is more important than just the name of the book, right? Yeah.
yeah, and I also thought that, I don't want to sell my soul. So I decided to come up with two books. And I'm not selling my soul either. I mean, in the
Yeah.
Handling Crooks, Creeps, and Bullies, I'm making it palatable and aligned with organization values or parents' fears, which I really respect,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something with that word. So the content is very productive, but
Right.
there'll be
Right.
two, those that they can buy from with different ISBN numbers, of course.
Correct. Correct. All right. So now, as you read the book, so you introduce the world to these two particular kinds of individuals, the CCBs and the DGPs. And of course, I leave it to you to elaborate on this. So, my question is that what do you think prevents most people from recognizing when they are dealing with a CCB until it is just too late?
Hmm. See, I think the two words, I mean, for me, I've been living them for 2 decades now. So the DGP is not DG Police. The DGP is, it's not Director General Police. The
Hmm.
DGP is a distinct good person.
Right.
Now, who's a good person who says that, look, I want to collaborate, I want to be constructive, I want to grow, I want to have friends, I don't want backstabbers. Let's have collaborative, enjoyable growth. Let's have learning, laughter, warmth. So, this is a DGP. They want to play by rules. They want transparency. They want honesty. They want growth. They want creation. They want values.
Right.
So, this is, and the DGP wants good values to prevail. And then there is another category of people, which is the crooks, creeps, and the B word. Let's call it the bullies now.
Yeah.
So the crooks, bullies say that, look, because you follow the rules, assuming, let's say, you are the DGP, decent good person,
Hmm.
because you follow rules, now let me use, abuse, disuse, pervert, invert, convert the whole thing to my strength. So
Hmm.
you play by the rules and I break the rules, so I get a premium black market value because I leave you behind. I don't have to follow the queue. I don't
Absolutely.
have to tell, I
Hmm.
don't have to be up. With you. I don't have to share the workload with you. I can only do this super smart talk and I can break promises, make slippery promises, turn the gun barrel at you when it is actually my fault. So this is the two categories of people, those that are selfish and those that want teamship.
Hmm. Hmm.
So these two people come in, then there is a problem that the DGP is now has a self-imposed handcuff, a
Okay.
self-imposed handcuff of rules, values, and the DGP is now saying, I do not want to stoop to the level of the CCB. I don't want to be like you, so I'll be good. So the DGP continues to suffer for a very long time until a point comes that he says, why is goodness not working?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
when it's not working, your soul is getting crucified. You are the good wife, you are the good husband, you are the good employee, you are the good citizen, you are the good student.
Hmm.
And your all goodness is making the crooks prosper.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there is a tipping point where you say goodness does not work, except that you had got a misplaced understanding of goodness. So I think it is at this point that you are trying very hard to leave goodness, but you can't leave it. It's part of your DNA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
Right.
can't become like them. And the moment you go to ask people, they give you Astha channel, Sanskar channel, be good, do good.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Then the big trouble happens that the decent good people are not able to get out because from their childhood in their moral science class, they were told, look within, look within, look within. The trouble must be inside you. So they grow up with a lot of self-doubt
Hmm.
that if I have a nagging wife, hysterical husband, pestering child, Shakuni boss, the trouble must be with me. So it's guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame, look within, look within, look within.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So they keep looking within and they get more frustrated because they can never be perfect. So they become very good at finding mistakes with themselves.
Hmm.
And the more books they read, the more they are told that change your attitude. Let evil be evil.
Hmm.
So try to cleanse. But they don't realize that it is coming at the cost of authenticity. That truth is truth. Truth does not change just because you chant more or breathe more or meditate more.
Hmm.
So I think whole thing is the one why they suffer quite a bit.
Hmm.
So I'm just trying to crunch the whole thing that, just because you are asked to look within, that the fault must be inside you. You improve. No. Why are you looking at evil? You develop yourselves. You transcend them. You look beyond them. Let them be the knife that sharpens you. So you keep doing all this thing and you suffer endlessly and you don't get the answers to it from anyone. You go to parents, you go to teachers, mentors, coaches, children, colleagues. Some say buck up, some say suck up, some say zip your lip, some say rock the boat, some say
Hmm.
lie low.
Yeah.
So you're going in a chakkar.
Right.
So
Right.
so I think that's the whole reason why the DGP suffers at the hands of CCB because you're just caught up in this whole thing of I want to be good without fully understanding what truly is good.
I think while there is no harm in wanting to be or in trying to be good, but I think you cannot place yourself in a situation where you're taken advantage of. I always believe that be a mirror image of the way the person in front of you is treating you. If the person is good to you, be good, be even better than them. But if the person is backstabbing, sidestabbing, front stabbing, whatever you said, if they're doing it, why would you want to take that all? I mean, of course, it may take you a while to understand that this is what is actually happening to me. Reason being that, of course, the relationship or the position or whatever, that may not give you that insight into the reality that this is what is actually happening. But once you realize, and I think most rational, intelligent, sensible people would realize at some stage or the other, once you realize that, I don't think you have any reason to take it. And if you would still take it, then I think you ought to be blamed more than the other person who's doing it to you because they are doing what they've always been doing and getting away because that's the way they know life. That's the way you have actually made them, get used to things. So today, when you have evolved, when you discovered something, do something about it. And maybe not stoop down to that level, if I may say so, but at least don't take it. Give it back,
You know,
right?
see, this is something really interesting what you're saying, that once you realize that what's happening to you, that takes a lifetime. Now, why it takes such a long time to understand that is a separate question altogether.
Hmm.
And we can get into that if you're interested a little bit later. But what your premise is that once you realize, why would you continue to behave in the way you have behaved? See, this book has 9 chapters. By chance, 9 happens to be a holy number, and the first chapter is how did you become what you became?
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
what were the movies you saw, and the second chapter is second and third chapters are some models which map people's intentions and intelligence.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the crooks in your life are people who are intelligent and selfish.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this is second and third chapters, and what if that person is your boss? What if that
Right.
person
Right.
is really
Right.
powerful in it? Fourth chapter tells you the mind of a decent good person. Fifth chapter tells you the mind of a crook.
Yes.
Now, why am I telling you this chronology of it is that because of the point that you raised, chapter number 6, which is the longest chapter, addresses what you were just talking about. That once you know why don't people change their behavior, and that goes into inner child psychology, that you know the other fellow is a crook. But you're still not being able to say no or put your boundaries there or deal with the adult bully. Why? Because tears come to your eyes. Your cheek turns red. Your ears begin to burn. Your ears turn red. You lose your sleep. You get neuromuscular tightness. Now, just because you know something cognitively, that you come to know that the other person is abusing, misusing you, and taking your property away, and whatever, not returning your money, etc. When you try to do it, your hormones don't cooperate. Your neurochemicals don't cooperate. Your neurotransmitters don't cooperate because neurons that wire together fire together. So, what it says is that what energy blocks you when you are cognitively convinced? Once the logic is in place, why are so many people still not able to do it? They know something is not right.
Yeah.
But I think you, out of all people, the way you built up this brand and built up this cause, I think the increments post clarity are still marginal. It takes a while for the consistency to build up, and I think chapter 6 beautifully explains why is it that you are that why you can't handle, some people can't handle conflicts, others can.
Yes. 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 That's
And
true.
even when you have the money and the talent, some people still can't handle the conflicts.
No, they cannot. I agree. And it does reflect upon both their personal and professional lives because you can't segregate the two. You are who you are. I mean, the commonality between those two lives is the person who you are. So I can say I agree with you, but yes, I think somewhere, if you are suffering, then the initiative to end that suffering, the first step has to come from you. Nobody is going to come and save you. You have to find that courage in you. You have to dig deep into your inner self and get that out of you, something that will help you deal with it. Because just by saying that this is what the other person is doing, like I said, you cannot change the world. So, like, they say charity begins at home. Start with yourself. Deal with yourself, find out what's not working for you, at least make the effort. You may not reach the Everest, but get to the base camp at least. And
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
itself will help in a very big way, and it will change your life in a very big way. Because I think more than how it will help you deal with that person, it will also give you a lot of self confidence, help you get out of that self doubt and feel so good about it that you've managed to handle something, deal with something which has been bothering you all your life, whether it is personal or professional.
Yeah. And what happens is that when you know that you need to have courage or you have to have encourage,
Yeah, yeah,
when we
yeah.
put courage to encourage, now encourage is bringing in another. So it shows like yours, let's say about her show, this whole podcast,
Hmm.
this talk show. Now, this is what is called satsang. That where does courage come from? I mean, if you just keep on having sankalp shakti or the power of the resolve,
Hmm.
sometimes the power of resolve is not good enough. Then I would strongly recommend to people, watch this, read this. If women are reading it or men are reading it or they are watching it, because you somehow get courage by rubbing shoulders with people who've done it, by
Yes.
rubbing shoulders with people for whom it is not nature, but it is nurture. They've walked through the
Yeah.
various steps. So the courage also comes from good company, it comes from good words, it comes from deep clarity, not surface clarity. Because
Yes.
surface clarity only asks you to shut up. But when you go deep and you are able to merge your brain with your heart, when you are able to understand what you feel,
Hmm.
that's where aha moments happen. And that's where people take that small step, which is actually a leap for mankind. That's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Louis Armstrong's dialogue that, small step for man, but giant step for mankind.
Right.
So I
Right.
think step happens with the this stuff, which is why at the beginning of the show I felt that I think it's great stuff that is being done, that you have people who have conquered, suffered, coped up, adapted, compromised, healthy compromise, created stuff,
Right.
that one has to spend time on listening and watching this kind of content to get more energy, because energy is in deficit when you are in conflict with the CCB.
Hmm.
They get more energy by fighting, and DGPs lose energy by fighting.
Correct.
So, so I would encourage, I think, your viewers to add to the cause, and learn from fellow beings who
Yes.
have been through that.
That's true. You learn a lot from people around you. You just have to be open and receptive, to what is, to all the content which is out there. All right.
Absolutely.
So this is a woman-centric podcast. So obviously there has to be questions, about women, on women. So my next question is something in that, sense. So in your work as a corporate trainer and coach, how do women typically respond to the CCB dynamics? I mean, are there patterns in how they cope or push back against power play, manipulation, and all that?
See, now this is it's becoming very interesting because I train now in sometimes in villages,
Okay.
some in B and C category towns. B and C does not mean in any way lower towns, but the level of prosperity,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
education has advanced. And I train in metros and around various countries.
yeah. Hmm.
Now, what is happening is that when you are training people in the urban corporate sector, I think women have become very elegant and nuanced at handling the corporate politics,
Okay.
reading between lines, boardroom energy, career and coin progression. So they are spectacular.
Wow.
They have amazing emotional intelligence. They have the ability to not explode just because they feel like exploding.
Hmm.
They have hold back energy, they have reserve energy. They can be relatively more restrained and muted.
Mm-hmm.
They are focused. So I think it is a sheer delight to work with them in their productivity. And sometimes you can actually learn so much
Hmm.
from women on how to handle the nuances of power struggle.
Okay.
So they are breaking the glass ceiling. They are getting into stuff which was earlier called technical. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, whether you're working in cyber, forensic, asteroid mining, Internet of Things, diagnostics, pharma, crop science, specialty chemicals, packaging. I mean, the world. So
Hmm.
it is amazing how the urban corporate woman who is dealing with all this. They are just spectacular. And I think it's a joy to allow everyone to speak in my workshops. Workshops are a sandhi of two words, work and shop. So
Yeah.
who works? I work, and they shop, and I shop for wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So think the way they talk about dealing with their bosses,
Hmm.
because it's a complex relationship of
Yeah. Yeah.
dad and granddad and mom and grandmom, so in the corporate sector. So, okay, on the other side, I was recently training 1,400 women in one shot in women leadership.
Okay.
And in these, in one shot, okay, so the screens were full of images. So on one side, you had women who had to take permission every morning from their father-in-law and their husband to go to the factory to work
Hmm. Hmm.
or to the office to work. On the other side of the spectrum were women who were doing solo trips to Nordic, Scandinavia, Ladakh by bus.
Hmm.
So, so the spectrum of women has become so wide that when you ask women who are doing solo trips that how come you're doing solo trips, some of them are upset at the question itself.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That why are you differentiating there? I'm just trying to give you,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
experience in the corporate sector because I'm like 95% corporate. So, so
definitely.
5% of it goes there. And on the other side, there were girls and women who were so glad that I asked them this question that how do you deal with your husband and how do you deal with your father-in-law every morning when you get a stinging remark on why do you have to work?
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
As compared to a lot of urban women or the progressive ones who are being told, why don't you stay back and I'll do the work? So the dynamics are so diverse now,
Hmm.
what I'm going through, that the smartness of women, it's so inspirational, Sangeeta.
Hmm.
Intellectual level, aesthetics, the way they dress up, the way they focus, the way they type. So I think they are engaging with corporate politics and CCBs much better than what I had expected. In fact, I'm telling the men sometimes to why don't you go and ask for advice from her?
Okay.
Because she may have better processing ability in handling the complexity of so many interdependent variables,
Hmm.
which sometimes men find it difficult because I think maybe they, in some ways, they are programmed differently or their life circumstances are different. You would know better. But I'm just doing this Ajka reporter to you on what's happening in the corporate sector because
Yeah.
I've spent almost 3 decades training them in 1 decade being on the other side of the fence. So corporate is, it's like good news. It's really good news for women.
So, and I think the fact that it is good news, and when you conduct these kind of workshops where you have this broad spectrum, it is like you can maybe not imagine how inspirational it must be for those women who have to take permission before they get to work every day or can even step out to work to look at these women, because then they have these role models. They can tell themselves, they can tell their families that if these women can do this, so can we. So, and I think it's so important to have role models in life, inspirations in life, people you could look up to, because ultimately when you're following a path, you do need some aspiration. You do need something in your mind which tells you, okay, this is who I want to be. So I think these
Right.
women, in their own ways, are just helping themselves by doing, first of all, by following their dreams, and then, making these inspirational stories, creating these inspirational stories for the other women who are, like you said, just struggling to even get to work. So I think, yes, you're right. Women are making, great inroads. And yes, for men to take advice, not a bad idea, because it's not about being equal or not unequal or whatever. It is about getting a different perspective, a different point of view. Women are different, men are different, they have different ways of thinking, and it isn't a bad idea to consult each other whenever required, right?
Yeah, and I suggest to people, I live in Gurgaon,
Hmm.
and I suggest to people that look, if you want to get exposed to what's happening in this whole gender thing, get up in the morning, go to Cyber Hub, go to any of these corporate hubs where people come to work.
Hmm.
Watch the way women are dressing, watch the way they are conferencing. Watch the way they come out in the sun. Watch their wrinkle-free look in the evening. They are non-crumpled, unfazed. So I think for women to get inspired, a light travels faster than sound. Women across India, whoever are internationally, I think they must go and see women perform.
Hmm.
How they come, time they come, what do they look like, how do they take the phone calls, what do they do on their holidays. I think just seeing is believing sometimes.
Yes, yes, yes. I totally.
So encourage, if women are watching this show or men are watching, just the sheer smartness has gone up so much in the way they talk and look and contribute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just that, like, I guess it was there, it just needed to come out into the open, and now we're getting the opportunity to do that. And so the result is right there. All right.
Uh, and I don't know how they are managing to be less distracted than men. So that I've been telling to my clients that, look, I mean, why is it that a job gets done sometimes in a more focused way by women? I'm not trying to say that men don't focus, but relatively, I'm finding that the attention disorder, the being distracted is, I'm finding the needle tilt more towards men these days, even in a workshop. How much does who pick up the screen?
Hmm.
How much notes are you making? How many questions are you asking? How much are you relating knowledge to wisdom?
Right.
I think the needle is shifting.
Yes, because, and I
And
think
I
also because, sorry, yeah, you're saying?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, I was saying that I hope they continue to complement the energies,
Yes,
continue to complement.
yes, yes. I also think, it also comes from the fact that women are doing multiple things, also. So that also, maybe then when you decide to do something, you decide to stay focused on that particular task, just put the others on the back burner for a while, finish that task, go to the other. So I think it comes with a lot of planning, organizing, and all of that. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from, but I think they're doing a fabulous job. And it's so inspirational to see them focused when they're making notes in my workshop, the way they're participating in games. And we do a lot of exercises during, the learning session. So the focus is just so inspirational.
So, Yadav, moving ahead. Now, you've mentioned several times that some people live lives that look good instead of ones that feel good. So, why do you think that so many people, even though they are smart, capable, they choose approval over authenticity? Why is knowing that somebody approves of what you have done or is able to put a tick mark against that action so important over being your true self?
What a deep question. Huh? I'll take some time to explain it.
Yeah.
And why is approval more important than being authentic? I
Hmm.
mean, authentic is full, and approval is you're performing.
Hmm.
So in one, you are in your authentic self. In another, you are in your social self. You're doing what others will think. See, the genesis of it, the birth of it takes place quite early in childhood,
Hmm.
when the child gets confused between love and recognition.
Hmm.
Now, when you do something which the parent approves and you get a stroke of an emotion,
Hmm.
a positive stroke, Raja Beta,
Right.
okay,
Hmm.
my sunny boy. So if the parent brings up the child in a way that when you do things which I approve of, you get a particular emotion. Now the child thinks that is love. Now,
Hmm.
what is the difference between love and approval that a child experiences? The love is also recognition, approval is also recognition.
Hmm.
Approval, you have to do something to get that recognition. In love, you get that irrespective. You are given different instructions, but the underlying emotion is that of oneness with you, is that of psychological safety. In love, the core is you can be you
Yeah.
without violating the basics of life. You can't be vulgar, when you are you,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you don't have to please me to get a unit of recognition. Now, if the child or the inner child or our psychic energy or our psychologies or our nature gets confused. Between these two, early enough, now we are all hungry for love. Most people have that empty love story they want to complete. So they want that approval. Thanks for smiling, but anyway, so
Yeah.
but this is about including that love story. I mean, this is something that a person looks for. Here, love is oneness. Here,
Hmm.
love is unconditionality. Here, love it means that can I be me? Can I stay in my authentic self and not be judged?
Hmm.
So in well, the fear is being judged. And the oxygen is that you tell me I am okay, then I feel okay. In love, I am okay even when you don't tell me. I am what I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in truth, I am okay when you say I'm okay.
Correct.
Now, if I have never tasted love, then I get confused between approval and love. So all my life, what do I do? I'm love hungry. So
Right.
I will do things that don't upset you. So that you don't say you are a bad boy, you're a bad girl, you're a bad boss, you're a bad brother, you're a bad husband, you're a bad sibling. So I can't hear that because I just have got so addicted to approvals that I live a life of, to begin with, dukh nivritti, which means avoid the pain, which means don't call me bad. Please don't call me bad. Please don't call me bad. So one relief for me is don't call me bad.
Correct.
The joy for me is please tell me I'm good. So if I'm so used to your telling me that you are good, and if I so fear you're telling me you're bad, then I live a life of approval even till I'm 80 years old or 90 years old or 100 years old.
Correct.
Because you must say that I'm good. So to break this barrier of not living a life of approval and living an authentic life, it's quite a journey.
It is.
Because even when you do stuff behaviorally, which is authentic, your psychology, Sangeeta, does not cooperate. Let's say you learn to say no.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, some people learn to say no, but they can't sleep at night.
Hmm.
Some people learn to say no, but their cheek turns red. Some
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
learn to say no, but tears come out of their eyes. So the behavior and the psychology have to merge for the inner well-being and the outer well-being to superimpose, or the juxtaposition is so important.
Correct.
That happens only when you understand the difference between approval and love, which is why I said I think it's a great question and people need to reflect
Yeah.
that you can't be anxious just because you're living in your authentic self.
Right.
And you artificial just because you are living in your social self. The closer your social self and authentic self move, the more solid your
Yes.
life is, the
Yes.
more emotionally grounded you are. Now
Actually,
that's
that is not a, sorry,
not an easy,
it isn't. It
not
is
a,
very
why.
difficult because I think it stems from the very foundation of your being. Because if that is the way you were raised, and again, it is about parenting, which is in any case not an easy thing to do. So if you have been subjected to this by your parent, then you grow up believing in that, and approval always come first. So like they say, love has to be unconditional. But how many of us are able to give that kind of love? Isn't it? We all have conditions and strings and all of that attached. So it's very difficult to find that love. And so I guess a lot of us lead our entire lives just looking for that one little approval, that one little, smile of appreciation, stroke of appreciation, which is actually pretty shallow, pretty hollow because it doesn't mean anything. But that's what we want because that's what we've believed all our lives. So, yeah,
Yeah.
very difficult to break out of it.
Very important word of caution here that what happens is that we feel that psychological safety or unconditional love is rare. Now, and we think that it doesn't exist. But actually, there are some decent good people
Yes.
who actually give you reasonable amount of psychological safety. They give you reasonable amount of unconditional love. Forget perfection.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you get predominantly, if you get psychological safety, predominantly if you get non-judged love, then you blossom.
Yes.
Then you
You told.
well, and we must not think that, if you don't give it, then you don't get it. The world is not an equal place.
Hmm.
There are a lot of families and offices where one is a giver and the other is a taker. One is giving unconditional love and the other is not giving unconditional love. I used to listen to this all the time till 10 years back, that ताली एक हाथ से नहीं बजती. If I may use some Hindi
Yeah,
here on
yeah.
your
Yes, of course.
I said, but थप्पड़ एक हाथ से बजता है.
Sure.
So,
Yes.
so if crook, creep, and bully in your life, the crook, creep, and bully may after a conflict may say some of would be your mistake and some of it is my mistake. Well, no. In quite a few cases, there is a possibility that most of it is one person's mistake.
Yes, yes, I
So
agree. I agree.
saying that no one gets unconditional love. Some people give a lot of unconditional love and a lot of psychological safety, and we must never get confused by the rational lies of the CCBs who are trying to confuse you and
Yes.
say, if I'm bad, you must also be bad.
So it's just,
Not
I think it's
necessarily
just playing with words. You know,
too.
it is just playing with words to, make you sound like. So if you're good with words, if you have the gift of the gab, you are going to be able to get away. So, which is a very, very, I think, something that people need to be wary of, that just don't get taken in by the words, understand the intention, the emotion behind it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, going back to the book. Now, as you
sure.
said that you wrote the book because there was a lot of, how should I say, a lot of pent up emotion feeling inside you and you wanted to get it out, and it was like, everything coming out together. So, okay, so you wrote it, everything came out together. So, my question is, was writing this book cathartic for you? I mean, did you discover anything new about yourself while putting it all down on paper?
Yeah, I think it was so joyful. I felt so free after I wrote the book.
Hmm.
In fact, the book launch that you so kindly looked at, that after the book launch was over in a packed auditorium of 350 people, once the whole thing was over, I went into an empty auditorium. And you will, no, they were stripping the posters. And just 2 hours back, there was such a big sort of a courage festival going on there
Hmm.
with this book launch.
Hmm.
And now the janitors had come and they were they were cleaning the auditorium.
Hmm.
And I just wanted to go there to see that what is my energy after the procession is over, after that such a massive book launch is over, people are having dinner outside. And I felt so clean and so liberated and so fulfilled. I was filled with a sense of meaning, that an important message that I wanted to put in the form of structural capital, document capital, PDF version, audio version, Kindle version was out. And I was feeling good that just like I have been able to save myself without guilt and shame in so many difficult situations, now others would be able to do it. So it was a very clean feeling. So cathartic is a good word. I felt as though I had taken a bath,
Hmm.
and some of the stuff that was psychologically stuck up, the knots opened, my micro muscles relaxed. I was alone in the auditorium, smiling, walking down the aisle, going to the backstage to the green room, and just talking to one or two janitors and people who were cleaning up. And I was asking them about their routine tomorrow morning, not telling them I'm the author. So so it was a very good feeling to get that constructive anger. See, in my TEDx talk, I had constructive anger. My way of teaching is constructive anger because it's all about my learning, not their learning. For me, teaching is an overfull cup where I'm sharing in rejoice. Hey, I learned this. So training for me is just a celebration. Hey, I learned this,
Right, right.
because the principle of my life is learning versus sharing. So when I learn something, So here's something that I think I had learned, implemented, shared, made people tried it in coaching sessions. People were smiling, giggling, thanking. And it wasn't from approval, it was from the point of view of soul,
Yes.
that it felt clean somehow, Sangeeta. That I don't know why I felt so clean.
I think because first of all, you were able to get it out of your system. It had been kind of, inside you for a very long time. You were able to get
Yeah,
it out. And then also in many ways, I mean, also, the initial reactions, to the book, the way people reacted to it and how they resonated with a lot of what you had said. I think then that makes it even more worthwhile because also, first of all, you don't feel that the message hasn't gone across. It has gone across. So it did two things, I think. First of all, it helped you detox yourself in a way. It got out of your
right.
system, a cleansing
I think,
process. And then you realize that you were probably not the only one who had gone through this or who was going through similar emotions. There were other people and they were relating to you, they were resonating with you. So I think all in all, yes, I think fabulous because I think if all of us could kind of find ways and means of getting rid of all that is bothering us, I think we would be far more happier, relaxed, joyous people and then help, spread more happiness in this world, right?
yeah. Yeah, and I think I was very angry. Most of the people, the queue for signing the book was so long. And
Oh, yes,
every
I know.
time I came to get it signed, they said, why didn't you write it 30 years before? Why didn't you write it 50 years before? And I got counter angry. And I said, why did someone else not write it for me before? Why did I have to write it?
Yes.
Because it's a book written. So they said, how did you write the book? I said, with my blood.
Mm,
And
I know.
I was I was half joking,
Yeah.
but half serious. I said, someone had to do this, no?
Yes, and it
That
had
to
to
put it
be.
all together rather than just put cliched stuff there, something that
Yes,
works.
yes, yes.
And now the kind of messaging that I get, Sangeeta, almost on a daily basis, someone saved their property, someone saved their relationship. Yesterday, I met an author. She said, I had a showdown with my parents after this, and it's such a great relationship. Some marriages got saved, some friendships got saved, some people recovered their money which they had given to
Wow.
others long
A
back.
lot of goodwill
And
out there for you. Okay,
it's been used by the government in some of their models in vigilance and corruption and all that.
great, great. So now coming back to a woman-centric question, and in particular, about the emotional traps which women face. Now, we all understand that many women, they deal with emotional guilt, inherited roles, or what you've called in your book, misplaced virtuosity. Now, what would you say to a woman who's constantly choosing peace over self worth, which a lot of women do, buying peace, but at what price?
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Wow, what a tough one, huh? What a tough one. And this I get faced with day in and day out because I do a lot of one-on-one coaching for women
Mm,
across countries. One big dilemma they face is that when they give birth to their child, they want to come back to the office, but don't want to come back to the office.
mm,
The workload is unforgiving. The little baby is waiting at home. Their career, the hunger, the fire in their belly is waiting for them in the office. And what a dilemma. And this I go through once or twice every week. And this is true for 13 countries in Middle East, 10, 12 countries in Southeast Asia, 2, 3 countries in Indian subcontinent, 5, 7 countries in the Western world. Recently, Koreans, Japanese, I was talking to them as well. So what a dilemma they face to begin with here. So I'll come to the peace versus, self-worth. But this is one big dilemma that I work with them day in and day out. That what do you do about it? Because the guilt is so terrible.
yeah, yeah.
The little baby is waiting. The mother and the mother-in-law are not sparing. The
Mm,
father and the father-in-law are not sparing, and they're saying, you're leaving a tender baby back at home, going to the office. Is your career more important than your baby? And what
correct.
are they supposed to?
Mm,
And they're themselves confused, and they're also supposed to answer attacking people who are supposed to be supporting them with confusion.
mm, 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 mm.
What is true knowledge? True knowledge is that which dispels confusion.
Mm,
Adi Shankaracharya, someone asked Adi Shankaracharya this question that define knowledge. And he says that which dispels confusion is knowledge.
mm,
So this I wanted to say that, when I meet women, one of the biggest dilemmas that they face is this: take care of my home or take care of my hunger for my career, my vocation, my talent, my need to create something. What a big one, this one.
mm,
The other one that you are talking about is that, having your sense of self-worth versus harmony. That harmony is that in Hindi they say kaleshna, so that there is no conflict at home or conflict in the office, because they are not comfortable with the conflict because they've not learned to differentiate between functional conflict and dysfunctional conflict. Now, every conflict has two issues: the core issues and the emotional issues. The core issue is around the problem solving. What is the problem all about? Let's say husband and wife are having a fight on TV channels, or boss and subordinate are having trouble with resources, or shared resources, or shared EA in the office. So the core issue is sharing. The core issue is no, you are a snake, no, you are a viper. That's the emotional issue. You did this to me and you did this to me. No, you started this. No, you started. That's the emotional issue.
right.
Now, I think self-worth comes from the point that are you able to stick to your authentic self, your original thinking?
Mm,
And your emotional personality is deeply hurt by this lack of peace and harmony because you can't think clearly when there is so much of conflict around you.
correct.
You've not developed the constructive thick skin, you're not become constructively Teflon coated, and you
Mm,
don't even know the technology to put Teflon on your body.
right.
So when women face this battle between sense of self-worth versus, harmony or lack of harmony at home or in the office, I think they have to move towards, in fact, not women, anyone living should gradually move towards self-esteem on how you look at yourself, because your sense of worthiness comes from inside out. It does not come from outside in.
Mm,
Don't pick battles with the Hitlers of your life straight away, but gradually you have to call a spade as respectfully and as lovingly as possible. So you have to do Satyam Vade, Hitam Vade, Priyam Vade. But truth is food for soul, and self-esteem or self-worth is more aligned to truth. So women per se and any living being has to gradually move away from the fear of conflict to the joy of self-worth. They have to do that.
yeah.
Otherwise, you don't die happy. And don't want to talk about dying and
Yeah.
grieving, but you don't die happy.
But you've made a very important point here. It is, so when you're, like when you're talking about peace here, this piece is, as I would say, it comes with a very heavy price. This is not actually peace. This is a facade, because the inner turmoil is going to destroy this piece sooner or
Brilliant.
later. So I think it is
Wow.
important to be able to catch the bull by its horns there and then. It requires a lot of courage, I'm not denying. Maybe a lot of other kind of support. Yes, it's not easy, but the crux of the matter is that you have to do it. You have to have that courage or develop that courage to to deal with that conflict, because that is going to be a long term solution for you. Just listening to someone, giving in, sacrificing your wishes, your desires is only going to buy you peace temporarily. It's not going to be a long term solution to anything, even, to the happiness of the household, the way you raise your children, because your frustration, everything is going to manifest over there. You're not going to be a good mother because inside you're burning, or you're, hating the circumstances. So I think it's important to be able to catch the bull by its horns and deal with the conflict.
I
Yes.
think you put it brilliantly because that's a facade. You're
Correct.
postponing the problem by 50 years, 40 years, 50 years, 10 years, 5 years. It's going to come back to you because
Absolutely.
authentic love is authentic love and authentic office work is authentic office work. So gradually you have to move there.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
you build your courage chapter by chapter. Sorry, I'm not trying to promote the book, but the truth of the matter is, how do you build courage? You build it chapter by chapter. Read first chapter, then second chapter, go all the way till the ninth chapter, and watch the your show.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. All right. So tell me, now you're someone who's been coaching and talking to people and helping them with various issues. So you facilitated thousands of sessions. So tell me, what makes a person truly open up and be vulnerable? I mean, what do you do to create that kind of safety in a room where anyone and everyone, which I'm talking from personal experience, from a 50 to a 60-year-old to a 20-year-old to a 30-year-old, everybody feels that you are their best friend. What do you do to do that?
See, I think the word there is you have to get into their rhythm, that you have to become them and you have to align with their pain. And the most important alignment is alignment of pain. People run away from pain.
Yeah.
So whatever that person is going through, you must feel it in your body. And let go of your own solutioning mode. Forget that you are a coach or a trainer. First, be with them. I mean, it's 100% presence. I don't want to use the cliched word mindfulness there, but you're fully present in body, mind, soul, emotion, psychology. You are them. You are oscillating with them. You are in their rhythm and you are not judging. And if the person has committed a murder, you are with them, yeah, and you are saying, yeah, okay, you committed a murder. And they fully know that you are, they can be okay with you. I mean, they are fine with you. They can be them.
Hmm.
And so I think the first thing that I do, and I don't know of any other way, because I think that is what a teacher, trainer, lecturer, coach, mentor is supposed to do. That's what teachers in Finland do. That you be with them. I mean, why do you have to judge it? Is for your ego that you are judging it. So I think the first thing is that you do that, and when you do that, they find you very safe and they become vulnerable, and together you say, let's flourish together and let's solve this and let's giggle together and let's laugh together and let's sometimes laugh at our miseries but holding hands,
Yeah.
and let's create together and let's invent together. So when you are doing all of those things together, everything is just dancing together. So
Yes.
you cry together.
I
So
think
there is so much.
there is the intention behind letting someone confide in you is very important. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it to prove a point, like something like I am better than you? Are you deriving joy out of it? Are you trying to prove to yourself that, look, I led a better life than them? Or are you genuinely with that person, non judgmental? You're giving them an open environment to be themselves. You're offering that unconditional support. I think if you are clear in your head about why you are doing, that's how you will convey that feeling, those vibes to them, and that is how they will open up. And I think you do a fabulous job of that, if I may say so. Yeah.
I was saying that, how do you do it? I said, how does who do it? He said, you. I said, forget about me. No, right now there's no me, there's you. So, so
Yeah.
when you are
Yeah.
into people, then forget about me. So forget about the other.
Yes.
It's about you now.
Yes. Yes.
So if you can do it truly, they have X-ray eyes. Human beings are intuitive. They know, are you with them? Are you one with them?
Yes.
The
Yes.
moment you're with them, everything just flourishes and so beautiful.
Right. Right. All right. So we've been talking about, women and the issues they face and how you say that now they are blossoming and what they're showing in the corporate world, they're coming out in a very spectacular way and all of that. But yes, while that requires a lot of effort on their part and coming out and all of that, but men also have to play a very, very critical, a very crucial role in this. So my question is that you've worked with diverse teams across cultures. Now, what's that one mindset shift men need to make if they truly want to support women as equals, not just allies in words, but in action? That is what I mean, I need to know. A lot of men love talking about how they support their wives, their mothers, and their daughters, and their sisters, and whoever it may be. But that's just words because it's the woman who knows whether that support is actually coming or not. So, my question is, how can they actually do it?
I think it's important that psychologically speaking, they go gender neutral, which means that you're dealing with a friend, you're dealing with a colleague.
Mm,
What would you do with a true friend? What would you do with a true colleague? I
mm,
was training people, few of them were actually, they couldn't see, they were, visually impaired.
mm,
So everyone would come and hold their arm and treat them specially. So I went to them and they said, "We are very comfortable with you." And I said, "Well, why are you comfortable with me? I mean, the
mm,
guy can't see and he is having to record what I'm saying, play it at a hard pace. He's got braille. He has to go and have buffet. We are in a five-star. There are stairs, etc., etc. And they were so comfortable with me. And people said, "How come the first time you're meeting Yadav?" They
mm,
said, "He's not treating us as though we are blind or visually impaired.
mm.
He's treating us as us."
Yes,
So when I chit chat with women, and both in personal life and professional life, I think it's a deeper shift that they are fellow beings. They
mm,
are neither superior nor are they inferior. And when you treat a person as a person, they get empowered.
absolutely, absolutely.
So in my workshop, if I treat a woman or a girl like a special thing, they become conscious. If I can giggle with them, if I am natural with them, they are natural with me. And the more natural people are, the more is their flow of energy, and the more they relax, and the more they flourish.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
my message to men would be that, this pseudo chivalry is not required.
No, it's not.
They are intelligent. It's like, these days people ask me, how do you handle the Gen Z? How do you handle Alpha? They are entitled. They want too much too quickly. I said, stop treating them like kids. Start treating them like adults. So stop treating them like, damsel in distress. Treat them as a person who's intelligent enough, and women flourish. In fact, I mean, just be neutral. Why do you have to be so aware?
And
Unless there is wickedness going on somewhere, then you have to protect.
but stop judging them from your lens. Don't look at the world from your lens. Your lens, like even if you're talking about Gen Z, your lens is probably outdated. You need
Yeah,
to switch to a newer one. And when it comes to women, I think it's important to understand the difference between equity and equality. That I think is something which a lot of us, you by making somebody feel that, like you said, somebody is blind or somebody is disabled, if you're making them feel and then say, oh, I'm doing such a good deed, actually you're not. You're really making them feel very, you're making them feel horrible. And then I think rather than making them feel good, you're making yourself feel good that, look, this is what I did to them. So actually,
yeah,
whatever you did was counterproductive. So I think
yeah.
this is what men have to understand that.
We play a game in my workshop in which, so, in the first round they play, second round they play, in the third round we blindfold one or two people in the team.
Mm,
And they still have to play. Now, which team wins? The team that treats the blindfolded person as a normal person, because that blindfolded person now uses the other organs of action and perception much better.
yes.
And those that treat them with kids' gloves, they lose. So I think women are very good. In fact, I tell people when I prepare them for their promotion, one of the questions they are asked, what are you planning to do about, or what have you done in the case of gender diversity? Now, this is very interesting, Sangeeta. So they come to me in for preparation for their promotion interview.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm helping them out. So I say, okay, what are the questions coming up for your promotion interview? They say one of the questions we have to answer is, what have you done for gender diversity?
Mm,
So I asked them that what is the answer you have written? They say, I have 47% women in my team or 27%. I said, that's a statistic. What have you done for women?
mm,
They said, I have 27% diversity and 47% diversity. They keep repeating that answer. So I said, no, but now tell me authentically, what do you feel about women? So they said sometimes they slow you down if they're wearing high heels when you have to do a physical job. I said, okay, good. Now we are talking the truth. Let's at least speak the truth. I said, what else? They say sometimes they bring a perspective to the team that no one else could have thought. I said, wonderful. Then they say, I think they bring a lot of cheer to the team. I said, okay, that's very good. They're quite focused. I said, that's very good. Oh, but they can't stay till late in the office. I said, that's a little bit of a liability. I said, now you are talking, at least I've brought you to the plane of truth of what is
Yeah.
going on inside. I said, now can you use their strengths in talking in your in your promotion interview that I use the focused mindset of women to do problem solving. I said, use their signature strengths. No,
Yeah.
rather than talk cliched stuff, I have 27% women and 37% women, and deep down you are troubled by their high heels and stilettos and they are slowing you down. I said, this is falseness.
It
And I
is.
said, they pick it up like this. Falseness is picked up by them. A woman knows in a bus when someone says, Madam, can you give the way? She knows what kind of a touch it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's so intuitive and she knows it by the surface area of the hand that touched her shoulder.
Absolutely.
How much Newton force was there? How long was the hand put there? She knows whether it was a wrong touch or an innocent touch. So I said, let's not fool them. If you want to nourish someone, nourish it authentically and genuinely. Use their signature strengths. So they go back actually transformed. They
Mm.
treat gender diversity as very differently after these interviews.
So
And
maybe
just the last one.
so
I think
maybe
this is
we need more people like you to do this.
I think so, and I think I'm trying to put a few drops there because every time someone comes in, I was doing a workshop for Ericsson, and there's an activity, Sangeeta. Try playing it in your classroom someday if you have a gender diverse classroom. Tell guys to run like a girl, and they make a mess out of it, and girls get so angry
Mm.
as though they run and then they'll do their lipstick or whatever, and girls get so angry. Girls say we run the way we run. We
Absolutely.
don't do all this nonsense that you've talked about. So I tell them that, look, I mean, you run, they run, everyone runs. So why are you mocking them at their lipstick or their hairstyle or whatever? So these small things, I think, add far more value to them getting empowered rather than very big stuff that they say, I pledge for you, I take oath for you, and then do nothing about it. It's in the small things
That's
that
just lip
God.
sympathy. And nobody needs lip sympathy. Sorry, we just don't need it. All right. Okay. So we've been talking about, how you managed to connect with people, how people feel it's so easy to confide in you, to share their, problems and stuff, and which is not very easy. And not only are they being able to share, but then most of the times you're able to give them some line of sight as to what is it that they can do with their lives, or to deal with the issue that they are facing. So I think it's because of that you're affectionately called the messiah of the mediocres, right? I read this somewhere. So tell me, what does this label, this title mean to you today? And has it become part of your legacy or a reflection of how people feel seen in your presence?
Okay, I don't know where you got that from. You do
Well,
your
I did.
research. Well, I never expected this as a question, but Messiah of the Mediocres was a name given to me, I think some 15 years or 20 years back by a French lady in a
Okay.
telecom company. Said that, look, you make these people who are struggling, failing, who are in these shades of gray, who are neither excellent nor useless. Every morning they wake up, they try, they fail, then they try, then they sometimes get defocused, then they meander, then their New Year resolutions fail, then they eat too much, then they go on binge, then fasting, so they said you are very well aligned to people who are self-unforgiving. People who bash themselves up a lot for poor willpower, not trying hard enough, getting distracted. He said
Hmm.
you give so much energy to them to shift to the other side of the fence
Yeah.
because they are fencers in saying that I won't be able to do it. I have tried. I'm tired. I don't have it in me. So
Hmm.
you're not showing them excellence.
Hmm.
You are not telling them that you are the scum of the earth. You are just doing a little bit of nudge principle, nano principle, micro principle, and taking the bell of the normal curve a little bit to the right. So she said, in your presence, it's okay to be mediocre. So you are the messiah of the mediocre. So that's how she gave me the name. And I think I take it more as someone who can help people without judging them and putting the pressure on them that you have to become Abraham Lincoln or Dhoni or Teresa or Gandhi. That if you are struggling with your husband or wife or kids or boss or community, it's okay. First of all, it's okay.
It's okay.
So, this messiah of the mediocre, what it does is that it comes and says, first of all, it's okay.
Hmm.
Second of all, I'm with you. Third of all, let us celebrate what happened positively. Fourth of all, let's make a nano plan. Fifth of all, we will celebrate when we do a little bit of it. Sixth, it's okay to play for failure without the fear of losing. So let's play for failure also without the fear of losing. So that's why she gave me this name, and I think it gives a lot of relief to people who are not super brilliant, but they have their own growth journey and growth aspirations. So everyone has a right to grow rather than be bashed by comparison with Virat Kohli or Aishwarya Rai or John or Bipasha, depending on your gender or preference.
Yeah.
I think everyone has to have that safety to grow.
Yes, because that is what it is. Because everybody needs that, everybody craves that. And I think when you're
Hmm.
letting people be real, I think that
Wow.
is where you connect with them. Because you are letting
Wow.
me be me, which
Yeah.
is what I want. I don't want to be somebody else who I am not. But in many situations, in many relationships, one has to pretend because that is what the other person wants out of you. Here is someone who's just saying, you be you. I'm not judging, I'm not questioning, I'm not saying anything to you. I'm just letting you be. And I think that the feeling in itself is so liberating. I can be who I am. Not even who I want to be, who I am. So this is who I am. So yeah, obviously this goes
You
then.
put it so well. I hope I get to watch this because I think I missed out on. I'd love to memorize the last few lines that you said. That I think it's just a joy to be able to be you
Yes, that's
and
what everybody is looking for. I want to be me. I don't want to be somebody else. I just want to be who I am. Without
uh,
any airs, without any pretenses, without any false kind of a, how should I say, a feeling or an identity. I don't want to be that. I just want to be this. This is who I am.
there was something very interesting that happened last week.
Yeah.
That a lot of people say small town complex.
Hmm.
So let's say you were brought up in some deep interiors of Andhra Pradesh or Kerala or Punjab or Haryana. Now, when they come into the corporate sector, they have this power distance. There's a cultural divide.
Hmm.
They can talk about the technical areas in English comfortably, but they can't joke in English. They can't have informal conversations in English.
Hmm.
And they have a little bit of a cultural inferiority in them.
Yes.
And they keep to get over that by reading books on confidence, English, fluency, this, that. And it doesn't work. But the moment we are together and I say, first let's feel comfortable with English,
Yeah.
Hindi plus English, it's comfortable with your accent, then you have to see the miracle that happens that the moment they know that it's all right, I can be me,
Yeah.
then they meteoric rise.
Yes, that's true. You have to let the other person be whatever it may be, the background, whatever. Just give that comfort, you know? Okay. So, if the listeners or the viewers of this episode could walk away from this remembering just one message from you on the book or on life in general, what would you want that to be?
I think I would want all of them to embark on the journey of authenticity by reading the 9 chapters, because the journey to authenticity is not easy, but worth it. So embark on the journey to authenticity.
I think that's very well said. I think we all need to do this. Just shove away the pretenses, the showing off, trying to fit into a mold which is not you, and just be you. And then, of course, I guess if you want to be you, then maybe, you will also attract other kind of people who are like-minded, have similar vibes. And then we can all, live in a world which is happier, more satisfying, and what you want it to be. Okay. So, Yadav, while we've come to the end of the conversation, we still have the rapid fire round, which is 5 quick questions, 5 quick answers. Are you ready for it? There's no time to think. You just have to come out with what just comes to your mind at that point. So, are we ready?
Can I first answer the question? Are you ready? No, but nevertheless.
Well, you have no choice here. There is no choice here. You have to be you. All right.
Sure.
Okay. So the first one, the most overused line in motivational speaking. That's an easy one.
Let go.
Yes. Yes. They say it all the time. All right. The next one. One word people use to describe you that you secretly enjoy.
Sorry, once again.
Okay. One word people use to describe you that you secretly enjoy.
He's bloody good.
Yes, you'd better love that. All right. The next one. One skill you think should be taught in every MBA program.
Managing upwards intelligently.
All right. Yeah, I think much needed. All right. If you weren't a coach or a trainer, what would you be doing today?
I would be preaching Vedanta and Indian scriptures.
All right. So basically in the same kind of scenario even then. And the last one, which is very simple. Your guilty pleasure after a long day.
I know it's quite cheap, but nevertheless, I'll say I watch funny Punjabi movies and giggle loudly alone.
Well, everybody is entitled. So no judgment, no questioning. You have to be you.
Thank
So if you want to do this, by all means. All right. So this is the end of the rapid fire round as well as the conversation. And what can I say? Everything that you said made me think. I could relate to it. I felt that I could apply it somewhere, and I felt that need to apply it. And I could relate to it in so many different ways, and I'm sure our listeners, our viewers will all also be able to relate. We need these kind of conversations which encourage people to be them, to be authentic, to be real. I think it was a wonderful conversation. I hope you feel the same way. So thank you so much for being on the show.
you so much. First of all, I enjoyed myself, and I think you articulated so many things so brilliantly. And I hope we are able to partner in future as well to do hashtags. India communicates better, India behaves better, and India authenticates better.
Well,
So to that, I think we could say cheers and thanks for
yes,
having me
would
over.
love to do that. Would love to do that. All right. Okay. Thank you for tuning in to the About Her Show. If you enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more from where that came from. Our previous guests have shared some amazing stories, so be sure to catch up on past episodes. To keep up with our inspiring conversations and to never miss an update, hit subscribe, rate, review, and share the love. Follow us on social media for some great content, and don't forget to check out our website www.aboutherbysangeeta.com for stories that resonate, inspire, and empower. Know a remarkable woman or an inspiring man blazing a trail? We'd love to hear from you. Drop us a note at web.abouther@gmail.com and let's bring their story to life on the About Her Show.